Whether we realize it or not, we're all familiar with machine learning. You take Netflix, who takes your preferences and your watching history and recommends movies to you. And Gmail, billions of emails analyzed to keep spam out of your inbox. And Amazon, harnessing the power of your purchasing and browsing history to recommend products to you. So let's just take a look at Amazon. This is Amazon's homepage this morning for me. And aside from learning that I'm interested in running and coffee, what we can see is if we blur out everything that hasn't come through machine learning, you realize that actually about 50% of the page has come through some sort of machine learning recommendation engine. And this is a big company taking fantastic benefits of machine learning and getting a lot of revenue for it. But the thing is that machine learning is really not just for the big guys anymore. Never before has machine learning been available to all of us. So today, I want to talk about machine learning specifically in e-commerce. So these are some of the things that you can use, you can do in machine learning and e-commerce. So email marketing. Why are we still sending the same email content to everyone when we send an email campaign? With machine learning, we can individualize those emails and send more relevant content to each person rather than sending everyone the same thing. And cross-selling, the ability to take a product that someone's looking at and recommend similar or complementary products. Personalized recommendations, everything I know about you, what you've looked at, maybe there's some products that I think you'd be really interested in that you haven't yet seen. Abandoned cart emails. If I've added something to my cart and I haven't quite ordered and I close my browser, maybe I've decided maybe I've gotten distracted at the last moment, or maybe I've decided the price was too high. With machine learning, we can wait an ideal period of time and send a personalized discount to that person later on and try and convert that person to an actual sale. And finally, lead scoring. How do we know which customers we should be focusing on? With lead scoring, we're able to figure out which customers may have not purchased just yet, but are very, very close to buying. And this way we can focus our support and business development people on those people that are almost there. So let's assume that you're interested in integrating e-commerce and machine learning into your store. There's 3 steps to do that. So first, we need to collect some data. Second, we need to train a model. And third, we can make those predictions. So the first step, we're talking about collecting data on purchases, product views, likes and ratings, wish lists. It's really any data that is connecting customers to products. The second, we need to train a model. And for this step, I like to use a system called Prediction.io. Prediction.io is an open source machine learning server that takes the data that you've collected in your store and is able to provide an API for machine learning. And your developers can take that and integrate that with your site. It also comes with several e-commerce templates. So many of the use cases that I've discussed already, you can get up and running right out of the box. And finally, it's production ready. And what I mean by that is that it's easy to set up, easy to maintain, and it stays reliable. So finally, we're at the fun part, making the predictions. And for this, I want to talk about a real-world example of ours. One of our clients, United Cellars, sells wine online to New Zealand and Australia. And we thought maybe we could use e-commerce we thought we could use machine learning to help increase their revenue. So the data that we had to work with was 16,000 product views, 60,000 orders, and 3,000 product ratings. And this is the data that is connecting those products to those users. So we're talking about 79,000 rows total. And really, by Bay Area standards, this is pretty small. Another consideration is that with wine, everyone has a diverse taste range, and United Cellars has over 10,000 wines. So machine learning seems like a really good fit because we have a lot of products and each one of us is very individualized to our tastes. And so it's about creating something that's going to bring those things together. So we decided to implement two things: personalized recommendations and similar products. So with personalized recommendations, this is recommending out of everything in the entire store, which products do we think are most relevant to that customer. So it's very much related around the customer's context. And the second thing is around similar products. So this is the context of the product itself. So if I'm looking at a product, showing me products that are related to that product, and doesn't really care as much who I am, but rather what I'm looking at. So we decided to run an A/B test to see how effective this might be on the site. So this is the site, and you can see across the left-hand panel there, we've got recommended for you. And so that's the personalized recommendations. And along the bottom, we've got more red wine to consider, which is the similar products. So when we put this live, we realized very quickly that we were starting to recommend products that were out of stock. So you have to be very considerate about anything that would lessen the relevance of those recommendations. So we added a filter to make sure that we don't show any out of stock products. The second thing is that you have to be very careful about understanding the context of the business that you're operating in. And with wine, people tend to like red or white wine. So if I'm shopping for red wine, show me more red wines. Don't show me a dessert wine or something else. There's a much higher chance that I were more interested in red wine. So the results. We ran this for a little while and we got 45% longer average session. We had 22% increase in conversion rate and 37% increase in average order size. And this generated a 71% increase in revenue. And this is huge. And this is because we had an increase in conversion rate, but also an increase in average order size. And those two things can be very, very powerful for the revenue. So machine learning generates revenue, but it also increases the customer's experience. So if I'm at a store and I'm searching around, it's hard work finding the products that might be interesting. If machine learning can help us bring those customers closer to those products more quickly and delight them with things they wouldn't have looked at, that's definitely a better customer experience. So 3 things I learned. The human touch is still important. You must understand the context of the business and figure out which use cases with machine learning may make sense. So if you have a store that has just 6 products, for example, there's no point having personalized recommendations or similar products for a store that small because as a user, I can already see all those products. So perhaps picking one of the other use cases in that case. But it takes a human to understand these sorts of things and how the shopper shops in order to figure out what exactly to show them. The second thing is that Prediction.io is awesome. It makes it so easy for all of us to start using machine learning and setting up one of these servers that can take that data in from your store and start serving predictions. And finally, small data can be enough. It's something we don't hear about that much in the Bay Area. In my example, I had 79,000 rows. It's really not the point about the number of rows, but rather the number of connections between the products and the customers. So if I had half the number of products, half the amount of data would be okay as well, provided I still had those connections. So thank you very much. You can go to resolve.digital/ML if you want to see the full case study for United Sellers. Thank you.